The government of Rwanda puts gender equality at the center of its social-economic development. In Rwanda, promoting gender equality is a strategy for inclusive and sustainable development, as well as transformative governance. Though much has been achieved in the last 25 years in regards to promoting gender equality, the private sector still lags behind. Yet, it is the engine for Rwanda's economic transformation. While the private sector employs 94% of the labor force in Rwanda, the number of women is still very low, especially in technical fields, which earn more wages. In mining, women participation stands at 5.8%, in transport at 3%, and at 14.6% in construction. Also, women occupy only 32% of decision-making positions in the private sector, and only 33% of business enterprises are owned by women, most of whom own micro and small business enterprises. In order to contribute to bridging the identified gaps, the Gender Monitoring Office, in partnership with the Private Sector Federation, the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, UN Women, and other stakeholders, introduced a project dubbed Promoting Gender Accountability in the Private Sector in Rwanda, with three main objectives: enhancing capacities of private sector companies and participating public institutions to promote gender equality at the workplace, enhancing national capacities for gender analysis and mainstreaming in the private sector, and conducting research for generating data to advocate for promotion of gender accountability in the private sector. As of the end of the year 2019, the project registered key important achievements. 1. The project was pitched at the highest level of decision-making in government, private sector, and the United Nations.
Promoting gender equality makes business sense. It attracts talent, it attracts innovation, but let me add that it does not only make business sense, but indeed it makes common sense, and it's a smart move.
The Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative comes at a critical time to support the private sector to promote gender accountability through awarding a gender seal to companies that demonstrate progress in closing the gender gap in their workplace.
The Gender Equality Seal initiative leverages the vital role of the private sector and public institutions, starting by identifying existing gaps, procedures, and practices that may generate gender inequalities.
Labor force is made up of both male and female. Based on the country's programs of promoting gender balance, equal access to opportunities, so the private sector is interested in driving this process of gender seal.
2. Buy-in of the Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative by the private sector companies and public institutions. More than 40 private companies and public institutions expressed their interest to join and implement the Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative in order to promote gender equality within companies and specifically promote gender-sensitive work environment for employees.
We believe that having men and women doing both these jobs will create a balance that will allow you to be, of course, to grow your business, but also to mitigate and manage your risks.
We are no longer at the Stone Age, where we used to consider muscles as the tool for production, for improvement. Now it's the brain, it's the organization, it's the planning, and that man and women are equal.
Gender equality is important in business because it enables companies to harness the best potential from different individuals, irrespective of their gender.
Companies including I&M Bank and EcoBank conducted awareness campaigns and have put in place anonymous reporting mechanisms for reporting sexual harassment cases. The gender equality diagnosis exercise was conducted in 10 private companies and 2 public institutions. The diagnosis exercise identified gender gaps within the companies and institutions, and action plans were developed to address them. The action plans are expected to address gender pay gaps, increase women in decision-making, enhance work-life balance, enhance women's and men's access to non-traditional jobs, eradicate sexual harassment, and promote the use of inclusive and non-sexist communication.
Gender Seal has become an eye-opener for us to see the good things that we are doing, and two, to use it as a baseline to even improve.
Since we joined the Seal, we became more intentional about creating a balance, both genders, male and female. For example, we have a department, repairs and maintenance, which was heavily male dominated, and we only had one lady in that department. So we realized we need to correct this, and so we've taken a few measures where we had to get interns who are ladies into that department.
Over the past 4 years, CIMERWA has taken a deliberate decision to appoint and train women in critical positions that used to be male-dominated. So there's also been initiative we've taken to address the gap. For example, we've been much more deliberating women, specifically to train them and train more of the excavator drivers within mining.
In our policies, we've managed to embed some certain things. For example, as far as women are concerned, young mothers are concerned, we have allowed for such moms, if there's a need for training outside the country, we actually facilitate them to actually go with their help and their baby fully paid for by the bank, in order to ensure that they don't miss out on some of these critical trainings.
Muri Sorwate rero ihame ry'uburinganire n'ubwuzuzanye rigeze kure. Icyo rero byatumariye iki? Niba yarasoromaga ibiro 40 akaba ashobora gusoroma ibiro 100 kubera ko umwana watekanye ari umuryango warungutse, umugore ku giti cye yarungutse, ndetse na Sorwate irunguka, umusaruro wayo urazamuka kubera kwita ku mwana n'umugore ndetse n'umuryango.
The private sector companies and public institutions that developed gender equality action plans were also recognized for their efforts in promoting gender equality. Gender equality committees within 10 private sector companies and 2 public institutions, composed of 101 members within companies and institutions participating in the Gender Equality Seal initiative, were established and equipped with skills on gender analysis and mainstreaming. In the same spirit, over 500 members of the private sector and PSF committees at central and decentralized level were trained in gender analysis and mainstreaming. This is a mass of gender experts empowered for driving gender equality seal process and other initiatives aimed at promoting gender equality and a gender-responsive workplace environment within their companies and institutions. Due to the provided trainings, PSF committees committed to integrate gender aspects in their annual action plans, and private sector members committed to be intentional in promoting gender equality in their businesses. The project also supported the development of a 5-year gender mainstreaming strategy as a guide for addressing gender gaps in the private sector in the short and medium term.
Yeah, the strategy is built on 5 pillars, but mainly what is now the strategy is meant to address is the gaps you have realized that in the private sector, especially where you consider the gender balance, when you see women who are in a business, women who are leading the businesses, and also the facilities that can be given to women so they can access or feel at ease while doing their businesses. So for the strategy, we are aiming first of all at building their capacity, helping them to gain the knowledge required to them so they can access the leadership positions, and also to help the PSF structures to be accommodative to women. So, and then we can get a balanced leadership of PSF. And also we want to raise awareness of people who are in the businesses, so how they can be gender sensitive.
As a way of addressing gender gaps in the private sector where the number of female entrepreneurs is still low, the project organized study tours to private companies for over 70 female students from Gashora Girls Academy, Fawe, and Maryhill Girls Schools. Interaction sessions between business owners and students were also organized, which inspired female students to be future entrepreneurs.
Kindly learn to save. I started by saving. If you can't manage, if you have no capital, you can sell your idea. But don't have one idea. I had 10. Remember I told you how many industries I have visited? Today I have the chalk factory.
I invite you to think about the future jobs. That's why I'm saying you saw the future. And this is right here in your country, very close to your homes. I invite you to think of some of the challenges. So think about the jobs and the opportunities if you go in that direction for studying for the future.
Bringing us here is very inspiring. It showed me personally that I am able to run such a huge company since other women before me did it. And it shows that if I set my mind to something, then I will.
The project also supported various talk shows to provide tips and encourage women and girls around the country to embrace entrepreneurship and job creation. Two peer learning sessions were organized and provided the opportunity for information sharing between companies and public institutions on company experiences in implementing the Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative, and also share the benefits of promoting gender equality at the workplace. The organization of peer learning sessions also helped to expand Gender Equality Seal Initiative across the country. Through the organized peer learning workshops, companies such as Skol Brewery, ISCO and Wolfram Mining committed to join the Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative. The project also supported to engage women cross-border traders with the objective of identifying the challenges they face in their businesses. The identified challenges that need to be advocated for include lack of space for selling their products, women operating individually and in a scattered manner, which limits capacity to grow their businesses, as well as small amount of capital to grow their business.
Mu by'ukuri akarere ka Rubavu kadukoresheje urugendo shuri tujya kureba uruganda i Masoro, ariko ubushobozi ni buke batubwiye ko badashobora kuturanguza tutari butware kontineri yose. Nkatwe abagore dukora ubucuruzi buciriritse, ubushobozi twasanze ari buke, ariko dufite ubushobozi mu by'ukuri cyagwa twayireka tukajya kurangura aho i Masoro twabibonye ko twarabibonye birakorwa kandi byanakundwa pe dufite ubushobozi.
In spite of the mentioned achievements, the project experienced some challenges which include delays in conducting gender equality diagnosis due to competing priorities within companies and institutions, turnover of members of gender equality committees in private sector companies and public institutions, which reduced the implementation momentum of the Gender Equality Seal Initiative. There is still misconception that promoting gender equality is about empowering women at the expense of men or promoting an unequal playing field in favor of women. The role given to gender equality committees to oversee the implementation of the Gender Equality Seal Initiative is considered to be an additional task, which is not part of the Key Performance Indicators, KPIs. This could limit their support to the implementation of GES initiative in their companies. Lessons learned. In companies where the top leadership is supportive of the Gender Equality Seal Initiative, the Gender Equality Seal process is faster. The Gender Equality Seal Initiative has been an effective tool for identifying gender gaps across companies and public institutions. It has been found out that discussions on entrepreneurship and job creation do not only benefit young females, but also adults, men and women. The introduction of the Gender Equality Seal triggered discussions on gender matters in Gender Equality Seal participating companies and institutions, something that did not exist before. Wider communication through media and other channels is important for raising public awareness on the benefits of promoting gender equality in the private sector. Next steps. In the year 2020, the project will focus on increasing the number of companies and public institutions participating in the Gender Equality Seal Initiative as a mechanism to promote gender-inclusive work environments, certifying some of the companies that are implementing gender equality action plans with gender equality seals, monitoring the implementation of gender equality action plans in private sector companies and public institutions, enhancing communication on gender equality certification initiative to influence decision-making and increase general awareness on benefits for promoting gender equality in the private sector, rolling out interactive sessions with CEOs on entrepreneurship and job creation in more schools and with a larger audience, conduct an assessment on the benefits of promoting gender equality in the private sector, and incentives for companies and institutions implementing the Gender Equality Seal Certification Initiative, supporting women to access national, regional, and international markets with quality products.